I'm Tyler Russell, I'm the director of Cyst, and I insist you have a good time watching this film. The idea of this film, I have no idea where it came from. I think it's just being a fan of these kind of films, the films that just have fun, and they like to just be what they are.
It's really kind of the most bizarre thing that I've worked on.
This is like Dr. Pimple Popper on steroids, you know?
And it's very satisfying and a very beautiful thing.
Everyone here has been great. I mean, they're all here to have a good time. They all know each other. I think a lot of them have worked together before.
This is one of the best crews I've ever worked on.
The most amazing makeup artist from Germany.
Now for VFX on Cyst, we try to make everything practical. So if it was everything from blood to slime to the cyst-monsters to the ceiling falling.
I love old school practical effects. I'm not really into like visual effects. And I think my favorite thing is seeing all these practical effects come to life on set. So that's by far my favorite thing thus far.
Wow, nice.
All those kind of things that we try to make it real. I feel like this kind of movie needs it. It's a 60s throwback film. You want practical stuff. Tolan Effects, the guys who did our visual effects for this film, I think they did a great job.
For me, the building of the marionette of the puppet was really exciting. I think that it is, because it was the first piece we started sculpting, we had the most time to work on it.
Yeah, I really like the cyst ball that we're doing for this. It's really gnarly looking. It's got a lot of really cool details.
I'm gonna get to do some of those prosthetics, you know, and wear the mask and turn into the monster. So not something I do every day.
Going to the restroom with a cyst is a challenge.
Form one of the creature. So to do this, I started with a skull, and then I took armature wire. It's a metal aluminum wire that you can bend and whatnot. Stuck it into the skull in places that we decided, and then sculpted with clay on top of it. And based on Chris's drawings, he had like all these little cysts and bumps, and there's an eyeball up here that moves around and whatnot.
What we still have on the dock are the forms that cyst ball turns into. So it starts as kind of a skull creature with legs and an eyeball and turns into a giant monstrosity.
For the head explosion, we essentially put this on top of one of our squib rigs, which when it pops will become the explosion of, in this case, it was somebody's head exploding. So we would replace their head later with the image of this exploding, so it kind of gives it a more authentic feel.
We had about a week worth of design and conversation about what exactly the cyst monsters would look like in their various forms, and we had about a week and a half to start building before our first day of shooting, and we are continuing to build through the shoot, which is a really short period of time for multiple full monster suits.
One of the weirdest things that happened with this film for me was when we were talking to the Tolan Effects, our effects guys. I was like, hey, here's our effects. We need to have a cyst monster come through the roof and shoot out with a tentacle arm and all this other stuff, and just naming off these crazy weird things. And Steve Tolan's like, oh yeah, we're gonna take that and do this, and we're gonna put this thing together. And it's just like, I'm like, I never knew any of this was even possible.
To create a puppet monster on film requires a lot of different steps and a lot of people. The first conversation obviously starts with me and the director, and we try to decide what is the function that the form of the monster needs to follow. So what does it need to be able to do in the movie determines what it's going to look like to a large degree. So it really takes a small army to be able to create even a single monster.
Am I dead?
Clarence, that's not going.
Yeah, you handle that.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing actors and actresses in this film.
We've spent hours, weeks, countless nights trying to find the perfect cast, whether that's, watching old horror movies from the 80s or 90s, just little known classics. We're kind of like scouring everywhere we can to assemble the absolute best cast.
And they all come from really great films and TV shows that kind of like go right into the genre that we're doing here with Cyst. And so it was a lot of fun putting them all together. seeing George and Greg work together, that was really surreal for me.
In tradition with Troll 2, we also casted Darren Ewing, who is the oh my god guy from Troll 2.
This is a reunion of George Hardy and myself.
It's George Hardy from Troll 2. This is Darren Ewing from Troll 2. We haven't worked together on screen with each other in 30 years. So that has been just an awesome experience to work with Darren.
We also have the other bad movie icon, it's kind of like Troll 2 and The Room are the two big ones. And we lost Greg Sestero for the role of Bill.
I'm friends with a couple of people working on it, and I thought, a couple days making a movie about a cyst, I thought, you gotta have fun once in a while.
I'm feeling real guilty. Everybody, he just got killed.
So there's a lot of cult movie stars in this movie, and initially I think I was like, what is this movie gonna be? Is this a real movie? And I start looking at the dailies and the footage that's coming in, and I gotta tell you, I was really surprised. The acting is actually really great and compelling. And they are bringing out the moments they need to bring out, those emotional moments, to really tell this story.
What's really cool is in this film, in Cyst, the great Gene Jones from No Country for Old Men, who I got to play with in Texas Cotton, is also in this film, and he's a classic, and worked with Tarantino and so many others. What an honor to work with him.
It's a different role for Gene, but Gene is an unbelievable actor.
The role in this movie is, I think I'm thinking of it as a Mr. Annoying Man, the man who won't go away. It's a one-beat, kind of one-joke role, but it's a pretty good joke.
It was hard for me to pull out of being so crazy on day 3 or 4 to being back to now I'm back sane again, which, I'll go crazy again. Yeah.
Dr. Guy is loony. Like he's, I don't know if he's knocking back something. He's taking the prescription pills for himself. I don't know.
Playing a crazy person because it's so. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but it's just so opposite of what a normal life or what you call normal. This is way out there. He goes from being sane to totally insane to halfway insane to happy to sad.
And so you get to see the most extreme to this side and the most extreme to this side.
It was kind of a hard decision for me to make when I first read it, because I thought, I don't know about this. This is a crazy guy. He's a villain and I'm like a pleaser. That's my primal strategy probably, a pleaser kind of guy, and this is just way different.
Last day. I miss you so much.
Which is good for me because I need to stretch myself, and this is a total stretch. Well, I've been fortunate enough to work with Eva Habermann.
You're the worst doctor ever!
You're the worst nurse ever!
I was actually in Germany shooting a film there under control with her, and met so many wonderful Germans.
I wanted to be in this movie because, first of all, Phantom Film, like our company is co-producing the movie. George is the main actor in it, George Hardy, and I just love him. And through him, I got to know Tyler Russell. He also did the ADR director for the English version of Under Control. And he is so amazing. It's so much fun.
I didn't really know Eva before working on this production, and she really brings a level of experience and technical ability to this that you can really see on screen. She is a fantastic actress, and it's just a real pleasure to be able to edit this movie with her performances. So it's been a real treat.
This movie is just going to be so weird and funny and scary and everything at the same time, and that's just something I like.
I think it's more than just a slasher monster movie. I mean, it's that, of course, but there is really great performances here from the talent.
You shouldn't miss cyst because it might remind you of your own cysts that you need to have checked out, and you should get to the dermatologist on an annual basis. That's the main reason to watch Cyst.
It's a great movie just to cuddle up next to your spouse or your significant other and just enjoy a great romantic comedy.
It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a blend of comedy and horror. that's hard to pull off.
It's ridiculous. It's repulsive. Yeah, it's the story is it's completely out of left field. It was something I was not expecting at all. I didn't think I wasn't sure I would like it, but as I read it, I thought this is just weird enough that I think it could, you know, it could definitely find an audience.
If you want to see a surprise, watch it.